booksellers, editors, agents, publishers, writers, poets, readers, and all assembled book lovers. Please turn your attention to the stage for a special welcome from poet Tina Chang, one of this evening's honorees.
Hello. How are you? It's so nice to see you. I was asked to read a poem to open up the evening. Welcome, everyone. Oh, so sweet. Thank you. This is called Refuge. It is a time of flame, of war, time when the complicated matters lie barren, fumes moving ghostly over the land of the living. I've come here to pause and lean against the tree. From afar, I view citizens shifting, salvaging what remains of the plain. I hand you something. You look at me before knowing what to do. Perhaps it is all we have left is this weapon. You hold it. At first, it feels heavy in your hands. You tell me you don't know what to do with it, this burden, this instrument. What comes out the other end tunnels into the heart of our intentions. I tell you that we've known all along how to live our remaining days together. Keep what I have given, though I may never see you again. You place the pen away, march off into the city ahead. You write a book, you write your life. Years from now, when I thought I was done with my imagination, the wind turns the page to your name. Thank you.
A little over 15 years ago, as we put together our second annual Inspiration issue, we asked celebrated graphic designer Chip Kidd to imagine a cover befitting that issue's theme. The result set in motion not only that specific cover, but also a tradition of asking graphic designers and artists to cover our first issue of every year with something new, surprising, uniquely inspired. In some instances, as with the sculpture of the Firefly Lighthouse, we approach an artist with an idea of our own. In other years, we purposely leave it open to the imaginations of the cover designers. Covers in recent years evoke feelings that were all too familiar at the time of their creation. Rest Area appeared a little less than 2 years into the pandemic, and our cracked open storm cloud in 2024 elicited an overwhelming sadness, along with a note of optimism during a time of war and violence. No matter the medium, style, or composition, the results have been meaningful in ways we never could have planned, wholly unexpected, like inspiration itself.
Please welcome our host for this evening, Ophira Eisenberg.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hello. Hi. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here. My name is Ophira Eisenberg. Nice to see you. Or I always like to mention this as I was once introduced at a show, Oprah something Jewish. So it is such an honor to be here with writers and poets and editors and publishers and agents. Thank you, agents. Thank you, agents. And I got to tell you, I do a lot of different work, but I love performing in front of smart people. I don't often get that chance. I perform a lot in stand-up comedy clubs, and to say that it's not a very smart, it's the lowest common denominator there, sounds like an overgeneralization, but let me tell you, it is very accurate. I got off the stage the other night, and a couple comics came up to me and said, I really lost the audience with my legume joke. I have learned if you're playing to a crowd at a nightclub after 8, you gotta stick to eggplants, people. I'll let that sink in. All right. But seriously, it is, when I saw how many people were here tonight, it just filled my heart because you're all part of a world I absolutely love, which is reading and creating and using words to make imagination and creativity come alive. I have a 10-year-old son, and he is a reader. And I think it is so important to try to inspire a younger generation, especially boys, actually, to read. And I'll brag for a second. There's a readathon at his elementary school, and he has won #1 3 years in a row. So, thank you. I need him to read because I'm an old mom and I like silence. It is true. I was talking with a few of the people at the cocktail party ahead of time, and I was telling them that when I say that, I joke that I'm old mom, but seriously, I got pregnant at 40, everybody. That's right. Thank you. That's right. I'm a goddamn inspiration. You're right. And I will tell you that I do crave silence, and I do crave being around other people that are not my 10-year-old. If you have kids, you know 10-year-olds are they're kind of jerky. And as I came here tonight, I kissed him goodbye before I left. He's a little cool for that right now, so I just went, "Oh, gross, mom," to my kiss, and then he insulted me. He said, "Your breath smells like rotten lemons." I know, I was like, it's called gin and a twist, like. I get a lot of comments on the job I do, but I was thinking as a writer, and I've written plenty, that writers get the worst things said to them about what they're working on. This very fun line, "Oh, hey, how's your book coming along?" How's your book coming along? That is so condescending. It really is. How's your divorce coming along? Maybe we should say that, because mine's going great now that I'm writing a book. I also am always, I've played to smart crowds. I made that joke because I hosted a show on NPR for 9 years called Ask Me Another. And, oh, thank you. It's canceled. And I will say that that was a very smart crowd. And let me tell you, they loved writing letters. They loved writing letters. There was some praise for sure. But the grammar nerds would love to tell you what they assumed you got incorrect. And they would give me notes on my grammar based on an audio product. Seriously, I would get a letter saying, like, "I think you used the wrong there. From listening to me. Do you understand? That is a different level. And I would think, how'd they know? And I'd say an apostrophe in my head just to piss them off. Yes, I would. Also, I hate bringing it up, but I just think that as we all contend with AI, it is increasingly important for us to be able to just identify good human writing. And on that note, I would like to have a moment of silence for my favorite piece of punctuation that has been taken from me, the em dash. Yes. Who knew such a flat line could make me feel so alive? And I actually think that the em dash is a particular loss for women. I do. Because it was that kind but reliable piece of punctuation. And what are we supposed to use now? A period? That's what we're supposed to use? Great, thank you. AI, now I come off like a jerk, all right? It's mean. Thanks a lot, robots. And you can't use an exclamation mark. That is just for being sarcastic or applying for an internship. So, I also, I have to tell you that living in New York is amazing. There's stories to be found here all the time. And as I take the subway all the time, and I was telling someone what a story is, because I do some stuff with the Moth, and I was trying to explain what a story is. And as we're standing on the R train platform, a woman came up to me. I don't know what was going on with her, but she just looked at me and said, "Where's Tanya?" And I said, "I think she's at home." And she said, "Well, that would be nice," and walked away. And I was like, there you go. That was a story, beginning, middle, and end, narrative arc. We solved a mystery. People were marked safe. It all happened in that exact moment. And although, as we're here, I love celebrating everything that has to do with writing, authors, putting together incredible pieces of work, and all day we have incredible honorees tonight. But I wanted to do something a little fun and different as I segue us into the evening, because I do think that one unsung hero of the industry is not the critic, but it is the reviewer who sits at home and has a laptop to leave a review on a website. And as you know, for every universally loved piece of literature, whether it is a bestseller or a classic, there is someone out there who hates it. Everything wonderful in this world has received a one-star review. And so I thought, some of them are art within themselves, that I went through some works of art out there in the book world, and I sourced some one-star reviews that are real to celebrate the unsung heroes that we all have to deal with. And I was wondering if you'd like to hear some one-star reviews of some famous books. Now, maybe you go to a restaurant and you read the 5-star reviews, and if you do, I love you, you're into happiness, I enjoy you. But I read the one-star reviews, and I'll tell you why. It is not because they give you accurate information. It is because those reviews are not about the restaurant or the book or the art gallery or the monument. They are about the person who wrote it. They are about someone who is not normally seen or heard, but they have an account, and they are going to settle a store. So the first one I thought would be fun to read is the seminal American novel, Moby Dick. Yes, it's been called poetic and a timeless masterpiece. I don't have to write these people, they exist. 1 star. I consider myself an easygoing person. Already, are you not excited to hear what this person says? I don't send food back. I try not to engage in confrontations. I generally keep my misguidings to myself. So when I tell you I hated Moby Dick with a burning fury of 1,000 suns, I want you to grasp my full meaning. That's pretty good. 1 star. The author strikes me as one of those people who has few friends. What a judgment. And would corner you at a party to talk incessantly about whaling, whaling ships, whale diet, whale etymology, whale delicacies, whale migration, whale oil. It goes on, and then you have to pretend to go to the bathroom or leave, hoping to never encounter them again. And finally, sometimes there's a 1-star review that is so succinct, it really just shows what brevity can do. 1 star, how can a book entirely set in the ocean be so dry? All right, I want to share another one with you, but I don't want to go on for too long, so I'll give you a choice. Would you like to hear 1-star review of David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest? Or the 21st century hit book and movie, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? All right, wait. I appreciate this. Let's hear for Infinite Jest. Got it. Dragon Tattoo. So even. All right, we'll do Infinite Jest now. We'll see how the roll. David Foster Wallace says, who has read this? By a round of applause. Who has read this in their entirety? All right, I will quiz you later. Called Transcendent and Genius. 1 star. Do you like tedium? This is a long, tedious exercise in absurdity, only matched by its pretentiousness. Can we kill postmodernism now? And this one is another short one, but I love it. These all tell something about the person that wrote them. 1 star, life is short. It's precious. Bathe in the sun. Dance in the moonlight. Hug someone you love. Read something that grabs you by the shoulders and looks you right in the eyes. But do not read Infinite Jest. I heard that was that one came from Jonathan Franz's burner account, I believe. But I only make fun of these pieces that we all love because, you know, the great thing about reviews is that it indicates that we have such a vast literary universe to explore. There's so many choices that we have always that people can read and read and read to find things they love and even take pleasure in things that they don't. And that's all thanks to the incredible work done by everybody in this room. So I just thank you for taking the time to come tonight. And now I would like to welcome to the stage the Gala chair, who is the CEO of Hachette Book Group. Please welcome David Shelley.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ophira. I love that. Welcome, writers, friends, and fellow book people. It's really fantastic to be here with you all for this wonderful celebration. While this is the first time that I've served as Gala Chair, Hachette Book Group has been a poets and writers supporter for many, many years. I'm so pleased to be continuing that tradition of support for this incredible organisation. I'm also extremely happy to report that together in this room, we have raised a whopping $1.103 million for this organisation. I'd like to thank my colleagues at Hachette. I'd like to thank the Poets and Writers Board of Directors for the great teamwork, and absolutely everyone here in the room for your generous contributions. This evening is absolutely key in terms of ensuring a future for poets and writers, so no one involved takes your support for granted, and it's all deeply appreciated. I'd like to especially acknowledge the companies that joined Hachette as leaders in making this evening a success. So chief among these is Books A Million, this evening's premier underwriter. Thank you so much to everyone at BAM. Thank you also so much to lead underwriters HarperCollins, James Patterson, Penguin Random House, and Source Books. Round of applause. And thank you so much also to underwriters, Apple Books, Audible, Barnes & Noble Booksellers, Macmillan Publishers, and Simon & Schuster. Truly, my gratitude and the gratitude of the Poets and Writers Board extends to absolutely every company and every individual who contributed to this evening, and also to those who may yet to be contributing this evening. No one's off the hook. Contributions at this gala are so key as well. Thank you to those who will be donating. The generosity of our industry and the generosity yet to come this evening makes me so proud, and I'm so thrilled that together we're able to give a tremendous boost to Poets and Writers' essential programs. On a personal note, I'm very proud to be supporting Poets and Writers this evening, as 2026 is the 200th anniversary of Hachette. It's the sort of mega... Thank you. It's the sort of mega anniversary that makes you reflect deeply on things. And for me, this 200th has brought into focus the extraordinary role that books and writing play in the world, and educating, entertaining, informing, and inspiring. And we happen to be at a point in time when both the free expression and the income of writers are both under threat in a number of ways, in terms of overt and covert book bans, theft from large tech companies, access to books and reading for those on lower incomes, and other societal forces that lead us into closer communion with our smartphones and fewer minutes per day spent reading books, something we're trying to address at Hachette with our Raising Readers program. At a point in time like this, the work that poets and writers do, protecting and supporting writers, is not just valuable, but is actually essential in terms of maintaining this delicate and precious literary ecosystem. And it makes me incredibly proud to be able to help support the work. I'd lastly add that in my 3rd year in the city, I can attest that this Poets and Writers Gala absolutely deserves its reputation as the most fun of all the galas. Fun is maybe a bit underrated, but I think now more than ever, we could all use a bit of fun. So it gives me pleasure to be associated with such an enjoyable evening. Once again, thank you very much for being here. Hope you have a lot more fun here tonight. And thank you again for joining us in supporting poets and writers. Thank you.
I joined poets and writers groups to find community and a wider variety of critique from different kinds of people.
Joining poets and writers writing groups has allowed me to connect with other writers all over the country.
I joined Poets and Writers Group because I enjoy writing together with a community dedicated to its writing practice.
I joined Poets and Writers because I realized I wrote more when in a group with other writers.
I'm in a literary short fiction group, and what I was looking for was people who are equally ambitious and they have discipline and also the existence of deadlines.
I am currently a part of the group Poetry Chapbook from creation to publication, and the best thing about this group is the variety of different poets. My writing is being supported by the amazing information I've learned about navigating the publication process.
Since joining, I've added to my novel in progress thanks to the thoughtful prompts led by our facilitator.
In this last year since I joined groups, I've completed 4 manuscripts.
A huge part of it is just feeling that motivation to sit down and get the short story done.
Writers need writers.
Joining Poets and Writers has truly been a game changer. You don't have to write alone.
Community, collaboration, connection, that's what you'll find in poets and writers groups.
Hello. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Melissa Gradle, the Executive Director of Poets and Writers, and thank you so much for being here. I have some thanks to offer. First, to David Shelley. We are just so grateful to you and Hachette. Your team was amazing to work with, and we're deeply appreciative of your generosity. I would also like to thank my sensational board of directors. They are largely responsible for making this event a success year after year. They also work year-round to expand the circle of people who know about and care about poets and writers. Plus, they do the nitty-gritty work of keeping a nonprofit organization going. We truly could not do it without them. Can I invite the members of the board to please stand so we can acknowledge you? Yeah. Thank you. And I would also like to thank my poets and writers colleagues. They are a small but mighty crew. Each of them cares deeply about books and about writers. They are brilliant, creative, and dedicated. They have a strong sense of purpose and hold themselves and me to the highest standards. It is an honor to work alongside them. Would the Poets and Writers team please stand? Thank you. Thank you. Poets and Writers was founded 56 years ago in 1970 by Galen Williams, and then it was led for more than 4 decades by Elliot Figman, and both Galen and Elliot are with us this evening. Thank you, Galen and Elliot. We stand on their shoulders. Thank you very much. So although Poets and Writers has been around for 56 years, I really feel like we're just getting started. About a year ago, we launched a new membership program that bundles subscriptions to our flagship publication, Poets and Writers magazine, together with online content, learning, and community. And I'm happy to say that it has been a huge success. We have about 35,000 members. Most of them were here for the cocktail reception. Although Poets and Writers is rooted in a strong tradition, we continue to innovate to provide what writers need now. And that's why we developed Poets and Writers Groups, which you just saw in the video, a purpose-built platform for writing groups, which is helping writers all over the country to build the community they need. Another new program is Get the Word Out, a publicity incubator for debut and early career authors. Since we launched Get the Word Out 4 years ago, more than 80 writers have taken part, and several of them are with us tonight. Because you all are book people and publish and edit and sell books and read books, you probably sometimes feel, as we do, that we're swimming a little against the tide, as if Timothée Chalamet might lump us in with the ballet and the opera. But we at Poets and Writers are not hanging up our toe shoes just yet. In an era characterized by sloppy AI-generated content, we value our editors, and we still hire proofreaders and fact-checkers. Because providing resources that are trustworthy is essential to the writers who rely on us. In an era of hot takes and trolling, we've just created an online community where writers are supporting one another with respect and care, and we hired real people to help nurture that community. While so many are looking for shortcuts and quick fixes, we continue to believe in craft and to support writers who take the slow road to realizing projects that demand dedication and perseverance, sometimes over years. In an age of emojis and memes, we value language used creatively and originally. We celebrate the power of words composed carefully and carefully read. In a time when optimization and life hacks are prized, we know that reading is still the best way to broaden your mind and enrich your life. In a time of violence and atomization, where words are used to demoralize and dehumanize, we continue to believe in the power of stories to build community and connection. Unfashionable though it may be, we remain committed to being an inclusive and anti-racist organization that not only welcomes writers, we not only welcome writers from all quarters, but we look squarely at how racism and other forms of exclusion have limited the range of literature available to all of us, and we work to open opportunities for those writers who have too often been excluded. Another old-fashioned value that we still cherish is freedom of expression. That one is so far out of fashion, it may be illegal. That's why earlier this year, we had to turn down a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, something that in my decades in the nonprofit arts sector, I never could have imagined doing. But we did, because accepting it would have been to betray our values. And instead, we turned to our community to fill in that funding gap, and you've come through in a big way. I guess probably everyone in this room is here because at some point, whether in childhood or much later, a book grabbed you and you caught your breath, or you felt your pulse quicken, or your stomach clench, or your eyes tear. The reaction was physical. An author whom you'd never met spoke directly to your heart, and their words changed you. That conversation, where one person reaches across time and space to talk to another, that transcendent experience cannot be faked, and it's worth protecting, and that's what Poets and Writers is here to do. It is, thank you. It is a grand Poets and Writers tradition to invite authors to join us as literary table hosts to celebrate the work that they make and our mission to support it. So it is my distinct honor now to introduce this year's table host. I am going to ask each writer to stand when your name is called, if you are able, and to remain standing until I've recognized each of you. Now, my friends, there are more than 60 table hosts, a few more table hosts than there are tables. So if you would like to have dinner, please hold your applause until the end. I'm starting over here. James Hannaham, Amy Dubois Barnett, Joanne Leadham Ackerman, Kimiko Hahn, Sloan Crossley, Amani Perry, Stephanie Wambugu, Joshua Ferris, Marlon James, Andrew Sean Greer, Julie Oranger, Mega Majumdar, Major Jackson, Kathy Lynn Che, Colin Channer, Vijay Sheshadri, Lena Moses Schmidt, Anya Mathis, Jody Pico, Anna Sophia McLaughlin, Jonathan Santlofer, Tommy Orange, Adam Hazlitt, Minjin Lee, Sochi Gonzalez, Brian Castleberry, Angie Cruz, Mahogany Brown, Temim Fruchter, Tayimba Jess, Rena Shah, Ya Jesse, Melissa Koss Aquino, Emma Straub, Janine Cummings, Lynn Steger Strong, Jaming Tang, Meg Wolitzer, Sandra Lim, Katie Kitamura, Cornelius Eady, Christopher Gonzalez, Therese Zaboda, Sarah Wang, Roxana Robinson, Janet Fitch, Corey Ann Haydu, Chris Pavone, Belle Burden, Eliza Minot, Susan Minot, Maggie Shipstead, Michelle Zahner, Ada Zhang, Michael Cunningham, Patricia Spears Jones, Eduardo Martinez Leyva, and Jimin Han. Thank you and welcome.
Get the word out.
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 Get the word out gave me a lot of knowledge about book publicity, gave me the opportunity to connect with professionals in the industry who helped open doors for me.
The work of book publicity and marketing, it felt unknowable and really uncomfortable.
I didn't have a publicist and I don't have an agent. The Get the Word Out program ended up being an absolute lifesaver, bridging those gaps and giving my short story collection more visibility.
In the incubator, we pitched our books over and over. We got on-the-spot feedback, and often it was eye-opening.
Get the Word Out gave me access to a talented and generous community of writers.
Week after week, we're having these really exciting, beautiful, galvanic conversations.
We offered one another support and guidance. We did readings and events together. I absolutely treasure the relationships and the friendships that I made.
Get the Word Out gave me confidence and the ability to see my novel as a work of art that was worthy of exposure.
I was shy to talk about my book. It's so much easier now for me to pitch to reviewers and apply to reading series and poetry festivals.
Having the Get the Word Out cohort, our group publicist, and our several industry mentors at my back made real what I already knew in my bones. The book I had written mattered.
Good evening, everyone. I am Madeline McIntosh. I am president of the Poets and Writers Board of Directors.
And I'm Eric Simonoff, chair of the Awards Committee. On behalf of the entire Board of Directors, welcome.
Thank you all for being here. The board is so proud of the work that Poets and Writers does. I just love that video highlighting some of the debut authors who've taken part in our publicity incubator program.
I loved it too.
Well, good.
The tagline for Poets and Writers magazine.
Not 1 star?
No.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars,
yeah. It was great. The tagline for Poets and Writers magazine, From Inspiration to Publication, really captures how the organization helps writers get started and then get their work out into the world.
Another thing that I'm very proud of, and this may seem simple, but it is important, Poets and Writers always pays writers. We pay the people who write the magazine. We support over 600 literary events every year by paying writers' fees. And we offered the Jackson Poetry Prize, which at $100,000 is one of the most generous awards for an American poet.
And most, yes, pause for applause.
Pause for applause,
Yes.
right.
And most of what we offer is free to the writers who benefit.
Free, but let's admit, expensive.
Yes, these programs cost a lot of money, of course.
We receive grants from foundations from New York City and New York State, and support from the companies and individuals who gave so generously for this event tonight. And Poets and Writers also counts on contributions that come directly from people like all of us here in this room, agents and editors, booksellers, authors, and publishing groupies, people who really care about books.
And when other sources of funding are compromised, like the National Endowment for the Arts, as Melissa mentioned, we know we can count on this community.
We can count on this community even when there's a lot that we can't count on outside of it anymore.
So to make sure that writers can make it from inspiration to publication for generations to come, we need to invest in institutions that support writers like Poets and Writers.
We're so grateful to everyone who has already contributed this evening, and we know that many of you are here as guests.
Come on, people. How many of you
know
paid for
who
your
you
dinner?
are.
So we're going to ask you to take out your cell phones. Do not check your email. Don't get distracted by any texts or WhatsApps.
No
For
headlines.
God's sakes, don't look at the headlines. There's no good news. All the good news is in this room. Text GIVE plus amount plus message plus name to 412-772-4321.
Yes, send a text to the number on the screen with the word GIVE, followed by the amount of your pledge, a short message, and your name.
You can also scan the QR code on the back of your program, then type the word GIVE, followed by the amount of your gift, a short message, and your name. They're going to come fast and furious. We're going to try to say them all.
Yes, I just now received a notification that we've received a special pledge in honor of Jordan Pavlin, $5,000 from Ethan and Ryan Hawk. They could not be here tonight, but send their congratulations. So congratulations, Jordan, on behalf of Ethan and Ryan Hawk. Fantastic.
Amazing. Contributions of any amount are welcome, and every dollar raised will go directly to Poets and Writers' enormously impactful programs.
So again, just text GIVE, G-I-V-E, to the number on your screen with the amount of your pledge, any message you want to share, plus your name.
Here's another pledge, $1,500 from Peter DiGilio. Thank you, Peter.
That is very generous. Thank you, Peter. And $100 coming in from an anonymous fan of Poets and Writers.
All amounts are appreciated.
Yes, and
we received another gift in honor of Jordan, $1,000 from the amazing Michelle Zauner. Incredible. Thank you, Michelle.
we are up to $7,600, Eric.
Okay. Everyone who makes a contribution today is investing in the writers of tomorrow, so come on, people.
And I'm sure we all agree that's an investment worth making.
Absolutely. Are they coming in?
They are coming in, and I'm trying to remember which screen we look at. This
Thank
is why we should have come to the rehearsal.
Yes, we didn't rehearse. Grace McPhee. Go Eric, go Poets and Writers. Haley Heidemann, my esteemed colleague.
Riva, thank you. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
The succinct $50. We'll take it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Much appreciated. Anonymous, what does Anonymous have to say?
Anonymous is a person of very few words.
But they have something to say.
I see phones out, which is a good sign.
Phones.
Don't get
It is a
distracted.
good sign. No, don't get distracted. No headlines. Don't look at your headlines.
Thank you, Brendan Fernandez.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
In honor of Jordan Pavlin, Julie Oranger,
Julie.
longtime Jordan Pavlin author.
Book Bug Chirp to Melissa Enders. Congratulations to Bill Miller. In honor of Willie Perdermo. Oh my God, they're coming in fast.
Molly Stern and Jay Mandel. Thank you, Molly and Jay. You can see it racking up. Thank you, Sarah Chandler.
We are over 10,000.
Christy.
Thank you, Christy.
Thanks, Christy
Is Christy
Fletcher.
here, or she just
I think
dialed
Christy
in
is here.
remotely? Thank you, Poets and Writers staff. Again, Anonymous.
I love Anonymous.
Anonymous is so modest.
That was with a capital A, though, this time. ReaderLink. Thank you, ReaderLink.
Thank you, ReaderLink. Tina Chang, Anonymous.
Onward. Anon.
Anon, yeah.
I'm not sure which Anon that was. Linda Steinman. Thank you, Linda. There goes the ticker.
Yep, over 15. Oh, first boss, Carolyn. Where's Caroline Bleak? God, it's so many modest people.
I know.
It's wonderful.
Cheers to the publicist, Sloan Crossley.
Oh, where's Sloan?
She knows where
I
she
saw
speaks.
She's over there.
Anonymous, thank you. Violet Lumani. I wish I had the words to express. Fighting for the right to read, Anonymous.
5 stars for Anonymous tonight. Miwa, thank you, Miwa. And Rebecca.
Thanks, Rebecca Gradinger. Sarah, thank you.
Tommy Orange is the best.
We do love Tommy Orange. An anonymous admirer. Find out later, Tommy. PWX Solutions. Thank you, PWX.
Thank you. Kimberly Braswell.
Kimberly.
Tina Chang. These all up here too? Yes,
Yep,
they are.
yep.
Wow, look at the numbers go.
Molly Stern and J. Mandel again.
Oh my God. Anonymous is the bestseller tonight.
Yes, no kidding. I wonder whether many anonymous people are bidding or just... Oh, Emma Straub. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Emma. Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you,
Book
New York
Forum.
Book Forum.
Memory of Albert Pittis.
Oh my God. We're almost at 30.
Closing in on 30.
Melissa was amazing.
1-star rating from the front row. JK.
I think they want us to get down.
I guess.
If we're going to get it 1 star.
By the way, we're happy to cede this job to
Yeah.
someone else next year.
Yeah, exactly.
If we don't get to 50, I think they might fire us.
I know.
Sheila O'Shea. Thank you, Sheila.
Oh,
I don't know who that
nice.
was.
Who was that? Thank you all.
And writers, I guess. Thank you, James.
Thank you, PRH. Thank you, librarians. Here's for the librarians. For Elliot.
And 500 from Anonymous. Thank you. Anani Mouse. $100. Laura Bonner, esteemed colleague.
Free Willy.
Okay, closing in on 40.
All right.
Almost there. We are stronger than censorship.
Oh, thank you, Anonymous.
Unattributed?
Yeah, unattributed.
Michelle Zauner fan there. Ben
Thank
Sevier,
you,
thank you, Ben. It's not too late.
I think people should start claiming that they were anonymous.
That's right. If
Yeah.
someone texts, I am anonymous,
I am
and
anonymous
then attributes it to
with your-
themselves.
yeah, with your name.
They're still coming. Can we get to 45?
Yeah, if we get to 45, you can get us off the stage.
Yeah, that should be an added
Yeah.
incentive. We will leave if we get to 50.
Leon!
Leon Stellick.
Anonymous Jordan fan. All right, we're almost at 45. Almost there.
Although, should we not promise to leave at 45? Should we promise to leave at 50 now?
I don't go back on my promises.
Okay. You're more honorable than I am.
All right.
Okay.
Almost there.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Keep texting. Keep supporting poets and writers.
Please welcome back to the stage tonight's host, Ophira Eisenberg.
Hello, everybody. I am back. How are we doing?
I know. This so far has been a lovely event. I know you're finishing some food, but I want to welcome some special guests, everybody who are with this evening's top donor, Books A Million. That's right, I want a big applause for them. As you know, Books A Million is a bookseller based in Birmingham, Alabama that operates in more than 260 stores in 32 states. And during the last several months, Books A Million invited customers to do that thing where they round up their order and asked for a contribution with that roundup to poets and writers. They call it Roundup for Writers. And this is the fourth year that they've done Roundup for Writers. And this time they raised $220,000 for poets and writers. So their leadership has been extraordinary, leveraging support for poets and writers from many others in the big community of writers and readers, and also inspiring people all over the country to donate their spare change as a way of giving back to the authors who enrich their lives. That is what we call a virtuous circle, everybody. So many of the people who work at Books A Million are themselves writers and creatives. So the company holds an annual contest that invites store associates to submit creative work about the power of words in their lives, like poems and essays, short stories, novels, novellas, videos even, designs for book covers. Hundreds of entries were received from the company's employees, and 5 winners were selected. And the winners were invited to join the company's executives at tonight's gala. And also joining us is the BAM store associate who raised the most at the register for poets and writers. So yes, please join me in congratulating, and you can stand up, Skylar Betterly, Julie Dewis, Tegan Emery, Jake Pruitt, Tiffany Walrich, and Emanuela Walter. All right, now we have arrived at the point in the evening where it's the awards portion, everybody. That's right. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you this evening's honoree. The Writers for Writers Award recognizes authors who have given generously to other writers or to the broader literary community, exemplifying poets and writers' core value of service. And tonight we honor 3 writers who have contributed in countless ways to the writing community, ultimately enriching the scope and depth of books available to readers. Our first honoree is Tina Chang. Tina Chang is an acclaimed poet. Her most recent collection, Hybrida, NPR named one of the most important books of poetry to come along in years. And her 4th collection, Lion, is forthcoming from Norton later this year. Chang is a tireless advocate for poetry and poets. Among her many acts of service to the poetry community are her decade-plus tenure as Brooklyn Poet Laureate, the establishment of the Poet in Residence program at the Brooklyn Public Library, her work to connect the Asian American and African American writing communities through a collaboration between the Asian American Writers Workshop and Cave Canem, and her partnership with the Community Word Project to connect student writers and teaching artists. Chang also established the Meet the Author program in New York City public schools. I know, this is very important, honestly. I think it's huge. And for her dedication to poetry, bridge building across the community, and the initiative to bring poetry to larger audiences, poets and writers, is so pleased to present the Writers for Writers Award to Tina Chang.
So beautiful. Hi, everyone. I'm going to put this here. Thank you. Okay. The poem, thank you. The poem I had read at the start of the event referred to the life of poet, professor, and activist Rifat Al-Arir. His poem, If I Must Die, circulated widely upon his death from a military airstrike in Gaza that killed his brother, sister, and 4 nephews as well. Before his death, he recorded a video expressing his urgent sorrow about his fate and a claim that should anyone come for him and his family, his writing instrument would be his only weapon. I think of him often in my days as a symbol of someone who worked on behalf of his people and behalf of his fellow writers. I think of communities under threat huddled closely with only one intention, and that is to survive. And I ask myself daily, what am I willing to fight for? James Baldwin, in an interview, stated that the world is held together by just a few very good people. I'd like to gently adjust Mr. Baldwin's claim to say that I believe that the world is held together by an abundance of great people. And I believe we are charged to fight for the world we wish to inhabit alongside each other. I think that mine is just one of thousands of stories of writers serving other writers in a city as vast and intricate as New York. I was elected the Poet Laureate at my home borough of Brooklyn in 2010, soon after giving, yes, Brooklyn, yes, soon after giving birth to my first child. The days were sleepless, but so incredibly happy. I often carried my son Roman and his baby Bjorn to literary gatherings, and as he and his little sister grew, I incorporated more poets, more writers, more children's book authors into artistically intentional and socially conscious communities. When I reflect on those 12 years which passed so quickly, I realize that much of my work as a laureate was to bear witness to the extraordinary acts of supreme love and labor from organizations and nonprofits such as the Community Word Project, the Brooklyn Public Library, the Asian American Writers Workshop, Pen Parentis, Cave Canem, Still Waters in a Storm, Urban Word NYC, the Alzheimer's Poetry Project, the New York Writers Coalition, the Apollo Theater, Poetry Society of America, Academy of American Poets, and of course, Poets and Writers, among so many others. Yes, to all these organizations. By watching these daily acts of devotion was an education in the power of invisible work. Not invisible because it was small, but because it was largely unseen. The labor lived in the tender acts of providing food for young writers who didn't have a stable home life, and the careful curation of writers with whom other writers could feel safe and seen. Or it lived in the emotional intelligence of nonprofit leaders who hold space for others' writers' doubts, ambitions, their vulnerability, and their triumphs. None of that appeared on the page or in the finished book, yet these organizers viewed their work as mandatory and life-saving. I was witness to that. The poet Rabindranath Tagore once wrote, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy." To support writers, to read them, to gather them, to celebrate them challenges me to see we don't live in a world of lack, but in a world of change. Writers are the interpreters of that change, however volatile, and witnesses to the insistence on our survival. That is something worth fighting for. I'd like to thank my editor at WW Norton, Jill Bialowski, for ushering, yes, Jill, for ushering my work into being and for her tireless insistence on amplifying the voices of marginalized writers, and to my family as well as my friends, Amy, Jennifer, Judy, Natalie Handel, Tracy, Kay Smith, for seeing me as a writer long before I had anything in print, and for carrying that belief until I was strong enough to claim it for myself. Thank you, poets and writers. I accept this humbly, and it's been an honor of a lifetime to be in joyous service of my heroes. Thank you so much.
Tina Chang. Novelist Khaled Hosseini was born in Kabul, Afghanistan in 1965 and granted political asylum in the United States in 1980 after the Soviet invasion of his birthplace. He later studied medicine and practiced as a physician in California in 2004. Since then, he has dedicated himself to writing. He is the author of the acclaimed novels The Kite Runner and 1,000 Splendid Suns, among other books. Through the Khaled Hosseini Foundation, he has provided humanitarian assistance to vulnerable Afghan communities that he writes about, and since 2006, he has served as Goodwill Ambassador for the UNHCR, the United Nations Refugee Agency. Hosseini is also a champion of free speech, outspoken in his opposition to book bans, which of course are a threat to every author and every reader. For his work to defend free speech, Poets and Writers is pleased to present the Writers for Writers Award to Khaled Hosseini. Unfortunately, Khaled could not be with us this evening, but he did send a message that we'd like to share with you right now.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Poets and Writers for this beautiful award. And though I'm sorry that I can't be there tonight with you in person, I do want to stress how deeply honored I am by this award, because it feels particularly meaningful to me at this time. Because I wouldn't be receiving this award or giving this speech if not for all the teachers who pressed books into my hands and all the librarians who defended bookshelves that contained uncomfortable truths. People who understood the value of stories as things that connect us, that complicate us, that expand us, and as things that have to be protected, especially contested stories. But we are now living in a time when books are being challenged and banned, when stories around race, gender, identity, and justice are considered too dangerous because they ask us to see more clearly and to think more critically. And this is often framed as a way to protect students, when in fact it does the opposite. It betrays them. Because when you ban a book, you deny young readers the chance to see themselves reflected in a story and feel less alone. You deny them the privilege of perspectives different from their own and the hard and complicated history that asks that we can and should do better. And that's a massive disservice, because in a democracy, students should be trusted with complexity and not protected from it. Students should learn that they're going to grow up in a world with people who may sound and look different than they do, who hold different value systems, but who are as deserving of the same rights, respects, and dignity as they are. Schools should be raising our children, should be helping raise our children to become thinking citizens in a democracy, and book bans keep them from doing that. This is why I think book bans are profoundly unpatriotic and uniquely un-American. They harm our democracy. So this is why I've joined my voice to those of so many fellow writers who want to reclaim the sacred spaces in our communities, most notably our schools, where students should be able to think and question and engage with ideas critically without the looming shadow of a politician looking over their shoulder. So I thank you for this award, and I accept it not with gratitude, but not as a culmination, but rather as a commitment to continue defending libraries and educators, and to continue to to resist the narrowing of our collective imagination. So thank you again, poets and writers, for this wonderful award. Thank you for all the writers who came before me and all the ones who are just beginning. And thank you to all of you tonight for believing as I do that a free society depends not only on free speech, but on free reading. Thank you again, and I wish all of you a lovely evening.
Our third Writers for Writers Award recipient is Eugene B. Redmond. A key figure in the Black arts movement, a beloved poet, photographer, and mentor, Redmond has shaped generations of artists worldwide. He was named Poet Laureate of East St. Louis in 1976, 50 years ago. The same year, his groundbreaking study, Drum Voices, The Mission of Afro-American Poetry, was published. He's the author of several books of poetry, as well as his collected works, Arkansas Memoirs, Poetry, Prose, and Chants. Redmond is also credited with securing the reputation of Henry Dumas. After Dumas was killed by police at the age of 33, Redmond edited several posthumous collections of his work, which were published by Toni Morrison when she was an editor at Random House. For decades, Redmond has been a generous advocate and supporter of other poets. He has a profound influence on generations of Black writers, and Poets and Writers is pleased to present the Writers for Writers Award to Eugene Redmond.
Elliot Figman, one of the early initiators of Poets and Writers, was a student of mine in a literature class at Oberlin College in the 69 and 70. Since as far back as I can remember, I've been high on languages and rhythms, signifying gospel, hymns, doo-wop, Paul Laurence Dunbar, James Weldon Johnson, rap, punning, and scatting, variants of English and other languages. By the early 1960s, I'd completed the Latin intensive East St. Louis Senior High School, Miles Davis's alma mater, and a stint in the Marine Corps, which included a tour of Southeast Asia and introduction to the haiku. I wrote a novel entitled A Superb Obituary, a sheaf of poems, and aided fellow Marines with grammar and spelling. Back at home, I enrolled at Southern Illinois University, East St. Louis, wrote for campus community newspapers, got active on literary/civil rights scenes, became editor of the campus newspaper, and helped found the Monitor newspaper in 1963 it still publishes today. In the fall of 1964, I was awarded a scholarship to Washington University, St. Louis, which was founded by T.S. Eliot's grandfather. More publications and awards were forthcoming, including first prize in the Festival of Arts Poetry Contest. And that was for The Eye in the Ceiling. It opened with these lines: "You sit snug in my ceiling, staring at the room, while insects worship you. But I can hide you in the night, and your body, like a corpse, loses its heat in seconds." And close with these: "Now, in your final death, I'll go through the clumsy ritual of unwinding you." Then came collaborations, professorships, awards, writer in residencies in English and Black Studies and Ethnic Studies departments, annual Third World Writers and Thinkers Symposiums at California State University, Sacramento, annual MLAs, publications, editorships like Black River Writers Publishing, Sides of the River, Black American Literature Forum, River Styx, Drum Voices Review, Giant Talk, and more than a half dozen volumes of poetry. Collaborations, again, on special projects like invention of the Kwansaba in honor of Kwanzaa by our East St. Louis-based Eugene B. Redmond Writers Club. And I want to mention that two of the writers have accompanied me here from the East St. Louis area, and they are Shelley Lumpkin and Jay Willis. Using 7 lines of 7 words per line, with no word more than 7 letters, here is an example of the Kwansaba in honor of the centennial of the 1917 East St. Louis Race Massacre. Still word and deed bonding, a 100-year-old Kwansaba, 1917 to 2017. We miss no minds, just mesh them artfully, like poets investing in an economy of speech. As house-calling omens of 60s mind Africanities and resolve, we're innate and innate staples and bonds. Our own forebearers, ending 100-year-long night of rafting across a burning river. Thank you.
Eugene Redmond. Our final award is the Editor's Award. They told me what was written here was too long, so I'll just leave it at that. The Editor's Award was created to recognize a book editor who has made an outstanding contribution to the publication of poetry or literary prose over a sustained period of time, and this year's honoree is Jordan Pavlin. Editor-in-Chief at the storied imprint Alfed A. Knopf. We all know the impeccable Russian bourgeois on the Knopf logo, but here's another fun fact. In Knopf's 111 years, Jordan is the 4th editor-in-chief. That's right, turnover every 27.5 years, everybody. In this room, there are many amazing authors who have worked very closely with Jordan, including Nathan Ingleter, Jesse, Mega Majumder, Ayanna Mathis, Eliza Minot, Susan Minot, Tommy Orange, Julie Oranger, Maggie Shipstead, and Michelle Zahner. It is my pleasure to invite to the podium one of those authors. So I invite Tommy Orange to the podium to present the Editor's Award to Ms. Pavlin.
Thank you. I'm going to read a thing. Hi, everyone. I'm going to read a thing that I wrote, and I'm not going to look up that often to make eye contact. But I'm trying to simulate for you guys Jordan's experience. Anything you write down is being read by somebody, right? It's especially important for an editor to read what you're writing down. So close your eyes, don't look at me. That's preferred for me if you don't look at me. But I'm gonna read the thing that I wrote on the paper and not look around. Like, I wouldn't do that if I was writing. I wouldn't even do that if I was reading out loud to myself in the room. I wouldn't look up at who. This is all unnatural for a writer, right? So, but Jordan is, she's amazing. And I can't tell you how honored I am to be up here, to have all of your precious, if diffuse time and attention here at the human time's seeming end, all of ours. It's not even funny. It feels that way, all of us. And I do appreciate the feeling of attention and time. I first met Jordan in 2017, the first time I came to New York. We had lunch with my agent, and at some point I said to her, idiotically, if someone read enough, inevitably they would become a writer. Jordan quickly and sharply denied this. I didn't even understand what an editor was at that point, and certainly not what it meant for an editor to intercede on behalf of the reader in order that the writer, i.e. me, not be allowed to do what I might do if left to my own devices. I have written many versions of 2 different worse novels that Jordan has helped me get to a better place. I'm currently trying not to finish a worse 3rd novel with her help. A reader does not become a writer as if ascending from it. Reading is the vital center of all writing activity. If writing is revision, reading is the biggest part of that. There are more aspiring writers and passive readers than you can shake a stick at. Not so aspiring editors. There should be. We need figures to aspire to. Jordan Pavlin is that. She is one of the greatest living editors and readers we have. I'm pretty sure she hates hearing all of this and being here, not you all. Not how nice this is, maybe not me. And I don't know if it's common for editors to not want attention. Must be something to it though, since not counting acknowledgments, you can't even find an editor's name in a book. Have you looked? We all leave at the end of a movie, not even seeing the end of the credits. Jordan once told me one of her writers, I won't mention their name, doesn't send her their books until they're almost perfect. I almost hate them for that. I had to spend 6 years desperately showing anyone willing to read my first novel. Several Craigslist writing groups, everyone in my MFA, a tin house workshop in which the great Marlon James pointedly asked the group if we thought my characters were stock, if that was okay. Eventually, a year after that workshop, by the grace of God, I chose Jordan and she chose me for my first book. I don't know what it's like with her other writers on the page. For me, it's been the best possible version of tough love. So the best kind of tough toward the best read for the story, and always full to the brim with love because her heart is massive. And also so as not to destroy my fragile ego, to smooth over her clear instructions around cleaning up the mess, the extraneous plot lines and superfluous characters, the overstuffed drama and insufferable asides. That kind of love. I was trying to think of the right metaphor for what an editor does. Thought of the prospector and the gem cutter, the sower and the miller. You've probably heard the midwife metaphor. I wondered if there was some kind of animal midwife, natural, thinking myself an instinctual writer with a mess of a litter of creatures first coming out, and came across Jungarian hamster midwifery. The father hamster in this culture, this is real, pulls the pup out with their teeth in birth and cleans the amniotic fluids, then carries the pups to their nest. This is real, these hamsters. Am I saying Jordan Pavlin is the Jungarian father hamster of my writing? I'm saying she made me pull it out with my own teeth. Told me to be the Jungarian father hamster of my own writing with her vision. I'm saying this speech needed an editor. These are uncertain times at best. Story has always been the way we see through the noise and darkness to tell a way out, through, into, the heart of. I don't know what's coming. If the world is currently falling apart, coming undone, blowing up, shedding dead skin, morphing into the unrecognizable, I do know on the other side, if there is one, there will be stories to tell. And I hope to have Jordan there with me to try to say something that helps, to hear, to read. Thank you.
Oh, we have the picture. Wow. This is a relief because I thought I was going to be crying. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy traveled a great distance to be here tonight. This is because I quickly realized what a challenge it would be to find local authors who have been edited by me and still like me. I am honored to receive the Editor's Award from Poets and Writers, an organization I admire deeply for creating communities and providing support for the storytellers who fill our lives with beauty and meaning. Like all editors, I have an innate discomfort with recognition. The only other career fantasy I've ever entertained is being a stage manager in a theater. Another job that would have allowed me to be in the wings in close proximity to great art. But my dread of being on this stage was overmastered by my love of being an editor. Other than being a mother, this is the role I am proudest of and the most pure-hearted work of my life. 2 of my 3 wonderful children are here tonight. Elias, Jules. The best. No words, just thank you. And my husband, Ari, who is frankly a much more beloved figure in the publishing industry than I am. It goes without saying that this honor is above all a tribute to the authors I've had the privilege of publishing on the Knopf list. I am just absolutely in awe of the amount of talent in this room right now. Many of the writers who are here tonight are not only my authors, they are dear friends and family. They've read bedtime stories to my kids and slept in my home and been overserved Negronis by my husband on a regular basis. We have with us tonight some of the greatest living writers of our time. Ya Jesse, Maggie Shipstead, Mega Majumdar, Ayanna Mathis, Julie Oringer, Susan Minot, Eliza Minot, the incredible Michelle Zauner, and of course, Tommy Orange. As Sunny Mehta said so memorably, Knopf is and always will be a writer's house. The writers here tonight are Knopf authors to their core. Many of them came to Knopf as I did because they admired Sunny and his commitment to quality and to excellence. If I have published this extraordinary group of authors well, it is because of the work of my magnificent colleagues across every department. This award is an acknowledgement of their superlative work. To be surrounded by their genius and devotion is a daily inspiration. And to be in a room full of Knopf editors is to be part of one of the greatest and longest running book clubs in New York City. I have to acknowledge my mentors. Lindy Hess gave me a scholarship to the Radcliffe Publishing course that made a door swing magically open for me. Thank you, that's great. When I was 21 years old, Tom McCormick at St. Martin's Press dropped a $100 bill on my desk and said, "Do me a favor, kid, buy yourself a new pair of pants." It was good advice, and I took the money. Roger Donald at Little Brown gave me far too much credit for bringing a short story to his attention that my brilliant colleague Deb Garrison had pulled out of the New Yorker's slush pile. His generosity to his assistants was legendary. And of course, Sonny. What an enormous piece of luck to have been in publishing in the age of Sonny Mehta. My parents' first language was Yiddish. They were raised in impossibly broken homes in Jersey City and the Bronx. They were brilliant, fearless, soulful people. They taught me to take risks and to love fiercely. But their lives were shadowed by implacable sorrows, and of the many gifts they gave me, one of the greatest was a complicated childhood that made disappearing into books a necessity. An editor is first and foremost a reader. I keep two quotes by my desk in the office. The first is Camus. A man's work is nothing but this slow trek to rediscover through the detours of art those two or three great and simple images in whose presence his heart first opened. And the second is Emerson. Let a man learn to look for the permanent in the mutable and the fleeting. Let him learn to bear the disappearance of things he was wont to reverence without losing his reverence. Let him learn that he is here not only to work, but to be worked upon. I love the Camus because it's a reminder that as editors, we come to this work with a hunger to be moved in the most private corners of our heart. Emerson's lines seem to me an uncannily apt description of an editor's job, or the job's first and perhaps most essential requirement, to be available, to be worked upon. A reader's first imperative is a willingness to be spellbound, to be credulous, to surrender to the force of an author's vision. We often associate editorial acumen with the keenness of our critical faculties. But I think that initial surrender, a willingness to be overtaken, to be worked upon by language, is an essential part of the compact between author and editor. It seems to me that the first requirement of an editor's work is to keep an open heart. We are living through an unbearably dark time, and keeping an open heart is much easier said than done. Now, more than ever, the world needs its poets. The world needs its writers. Literature and books have never been more essential. To look around this room is to be reminded of the enduring power of civilization, the light of truth and reason and beauty. Our government is lawless and depraved, but we are also living in a sliver of history that happens to contain both Michael Ondaatje and Kazu Ishiguro. When the barbarism of this age is behind us, the art will remain. Thank you very much.
Please join me in one final round of applause for all of our recipients: Tina Chang, Eugene Redmond, Khaled Hosseini, and Jordan Pavlin. I just wanted to thank everyone as I received an update on this evening's fundraising, and at this point, we have raised $1,057,250. You can keep contributing now that we are at this point. You can, take out your phone and And just thank you, because obviously your generous contributions keep writers informed, inspired, and writing. And the beneficiaries are for all of us, especially those of us who are readers. It has been my great pleasure to host this evening, and thank you, because 3 people asked for the review of Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and I consider 3 representative of a unanimous 700. I'll just give you the favorite. We've all had a glass of wine. Can we deal with some salty language? Are we all right? All right, this is my favorite 1 star of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. 1 star. I have never read a book where so many cups of coffee are brewed, smelled, sipped, downed, so many cigarettes shared, too many butt plugs to talk about. Finishing it was an exercise in Swedish masochism. Thank you so much. We'll be going next door for dessert and coffee. This has been a great honor for me. Good night, everybody.